Good morning. I thought it would be good for me to speak to you as our seminary community. We are so grateful for the broad support we have for Heidelberg Seminary. But there are several events that have taken place recently that I want to talk to you about and by way of announcement, and then things that we do want to pray for. Starting with the fact that we received news several weeks ago already now that one of our students in the Philippines who has recently taken several courses on in our Philippines program training men for the ministry was actually down with COVID and lost his life, was called home by the Lord. He was a pastor actually. His name is Bantang. He was pastor of two churches in Butuan City and Surigao City. I hope I pronounced that somewhat correctly. And was actually preparing to fairly soon take his examination to be a minister in the Pearl of the Orient Covenant Reformed Church. He was 53 years old, married, had 5 children. So please pray for his family. We are grateful for the promise of the gospel that we have, but he will be missed. Secondly, just last week, one of our board members, the Reverend Lee Johnson, who was also struggling with COVID and had the occasion of a blood clot which caused a fairly severe stroke. He is doing better. He has a fair amount of paralysis, so he will be going through a time of intense therapy. And we pray that the Lord would restore him, that he will soon be able to take up his full labors again, both for his church in Lincoln, Nebraska, and for the work of the seminary. And then finally, we just received word this morning, the brother-in-law of another board member, Brent Cherdsma, Mr. Mark Renkema, a pastor in the OPC, who has been struggling with a fight against pancreatic cancer, has been in hospice care, and the Lord just called him home this morning. That's Pastor Mark Renkema of the OPC in the state of Washington. Again, we are grateful for the hope of the gospel. Pray for his family. And for Brent and Denise Cherdsma, Brent's wife, who is the brother of Pastor Renkema, as we acknowledge this morning the loss of his life and his being called home to his eternal reward. I'm reminded of Psalm 27, and I would like to read several verses from that psalm. First of all, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Then we read in verse 7 of that psalm, Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me and answer me. And finally, the last verse, verse 20, says, Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Indeed, we do wait on the Lord. The Lord has been very gracious. We are here dealing with what from a human perspective are some difficult things, and yet we know that God is sovereign in control. And so I wanted to bring those things to your attention, and I trust that you will pray for our brothers and sisters who are in need, and that the Lord's will be done. Thank you.